Hello, this is Jeremy here, and today we're going to be talking about not one of my favorite albums from the Beach Boys, Shut Down Volume 2. I don't have a ton of pressings of this album for a couple of reasons. One of them is we have beautiful analog productions pressings of both the mono and the stereo, and I just don't see why you would need another copy of this album. It really is everything that you need. Again, you get with the analog productions pressings, you get these beautiful tip-on jackets, this really nice solid cardboard. It just feels like the record is very safe inside. 180 grams for your weight, if that's a thing for you. And yeah, it's just beautiful. So, and these are still available. A lot of the Analog Productions albums are out of print now, but Shut Down Volume 2 is one of those that you can still get. I think both the mono and the stereo on Acoustic Sounds for their original price. So go for it, get those. We are going to talk about one other pressing today, and that is this. This is another 1980 Capitol reissue. Again, you're going to notice that it's got a different title. It's called Fun, Fun, Fun. Maybe a better title than Shut Down Volume 2. I don't know. I like Shut Down. That's a good name for an album. Shut Down Volume 2, it's not good. I would prefer Fun, Fun, Fun. But, you know, you look at their faces, too, and I'm not sure. Is Fun, Fun, Fun really a good description of the way everybody... I mean, they're all smiling a little bit, but I think Shut Down would have been better. Regardless, it's fun to see this alternate version of the cover with this different title. And of course, this is one of those early Capitol Green labels that has removed a couple tracks from the album. And I would say this is right up there with All Summer Long as being one of the better versions of these albums with less tracks. On All Summer Long, it took away our favorite recording sessions, which I don't miss. It also took away Carl's Big Chance, which, while painful, is an instrumental. The two tracks that are taken off of this album are Cash's Love versus Sonny Wilson. Again, this is one of their comedy bits. No music here. And this is probably my least favorite comedy track that they put on any of these early albums. It really makes me cringe, and it goes straight into Warmth of the Sun right after. They could have put that at the end, between Louie and Denny's drums, but no, it's right on the front side and right before one of the most heartbreaking, beautiful ballads that Mike and Brian ever wrote together. So that's even more infuriating. And so the fact that they took it off this version, you go, oh, okay, well, this is almost maybe a better version of this album. Almost. But the problem is they also remove In the Parking Lot, which is a great song, and definitely once you remove that as well, the album is just very, very, very short. And so this is kind of a mixed bag. Sounds good. Cut by Jay, good old Jay. You can see that in the Dead Wax, cut by Jay Maynard, who was cutting all of these Green labels back in the day, I think for the most part. And he did a great job with all of them. But yeah, I wouldn't say go spend lots of money for this, but it's nice. I think I might keep this around in my collection. Again, just as an alternate listening experience. But I want to talk a little bit too about the mono versus the stereo of this album. I would say for the most part, I prefer early Beach Boys records actually in stereo. I'm talking about Surfer Girl, talking about Surfing USA, talking about Little Deuce Coupe, although that one could go kind of either way. The monos are great, and obviously those are what Brian envisioned. That's the ones that Brian mixed with his one good ear. But man, Surfer Girl, especially that one in stereo, I can't imagine wanting to listen to it any other way. Now you get to shut down volume 2 and you go, okay, so what happened here with this album? I don't know. There's something weird that happened, because if you listen to a lot of early Beach Boys records and you go back and forth between the mono and the stereo, they sound pretty similar, aside from obviously things being widened out. But there's something about Shut Down. Listen to Fun, 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 and then listen to it in stereo, and it sounds a little bit off. I did find on a Steve Hoffman forum that Steve piped in and said that something actually did happen during the cut of the stereo mix of this album. You know, a knob got bumped or something, and evidently that led to one of the reasons why this album doesn't translate super well. Anyways, you listen to the album in stereo and tell me what you think. On top of that, there are many tracks on here, most of the good ones, that are just much, much better in mono. Fun, 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 for instance. This track gets cut off way too early in the stereo version. You know, the big wail that the whole song is building up to, the big Brian wail at the end. You get maybe 1.5 times of that before the song gets quickly faded out, whereas the mono version you get like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 of Brian doing that amazing wail that he does at the end of the song. So there's one good reason to stick with the mono. Another one is The Warmth of the Sun and Don't Worry Baby. The vocals are panned, so you get that weird thing where the lead vocal is in the left channel and then the background vocals are all in the right channel, and doesn't sound great, doesn't sound good. Two of the most important early songs of the Beach Boys, and just with a botched stereo mix here. So there's another reason to prefer the mono. There are a couple songs on here that do sound good in stereo. I'm thinking of In the Parking Lot. I'm thinking of Keep an Eye on Summer. Those are my main reasons why I prefer the mono version of this album. This album itself is kind of a strange bird. A lot of people will compare this album with Little Deuce Coupe, which came just right before it. I guess it's their 2 car-themed albums. And a lot of people would say this one is much better than Little Deuce Coupe. I would disagree. I much prefer Little Deuce Coupe. To me, Shut Down Volume 2, it has higher highs but lower lows. The whole album kind of crashes and burns on the second side. You've got like Shut Down Part 2, instrumental, Denny's drums, sorry Dennis, and Louie Louie. I mean, it's just not a great way to stack those and put them all at the end of the album. It really just kind of fizzles out there for me. Whereas Little Deuce Coupe, it's just strong all the way through. There's not a song I don't like on Little Deuce Coupe. And people will say Little Deuce Coupe has a lot of repeat songs, car theme songs. Little Deuce Coupe being one of those. Our Car Club. And I think there's maybe 409 is on there as well. But just great songs the whole way through. Can't say the same for this album. And because of the weird mixing issues on the stereo version, this one slumps down. The title as well. Just, it's like, it just can't quite compete with that other album for me. Anyways, maybe last we can talk about the cover. This is not one of my favorite covers either. I mean, it's pretty iconic. You got the guys, with the car. Dennis looks pretty cool. The rest of the guys, I don't know. it just kind of feels like they're all posing a little bit. I mean, they're literally posing for this photo, but also I don't think any of them raced cars. I don't think any of them were even that into them. I could be wrong, aside from Dennis again. It looks like a bunch of nerds in those car jackets. Sorry, I don't like Brian's hair either in this. I mean, what is that? That's not a good, either comb it over nice, Brian, or just, do your pet sounds thing. The one other thing I want to say is this Analog Productions has a beautiful jacket, but it's just a little green. I don't know, I would be interested to see an original jacket and see if it was this kind of like puke green on that one too. I know a lot of them have obviously like faded over time, but did it start like this puke green? I don't know. To compare, you look at this Capital reissue, and it's got a little bit of green to it, but it's easier to look at than that weird green tint. There is another version of this album that's pretty good. It's the one that just came out. It's like the limited edition that you can get off the Beach Boys website, although I think it maybe is sold out already. I own this one for a little while. It's like the blue marble version. And essentially what that is, it's basically Kevin Gray's master, from the Analog Productions version. But it's digitally sourced. The runouts are different, but it sounds great. It sounds just like the All Summer Long reissue that they did as well. Also has Kevin Gray's master on that one, but digitally sourced. Anyways, that's Shutdown Volume 2. Some great songs on here, but again, not fully coming together for me to be one of their great early albums. So that's it for now. Happy Halloween, everybody. I do have something coming in the mail that I'm very excited to show you guys, something that I think probably most people haven't seen, Beach Boys related. So I will see you next time.